All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, see what is in Canvas for the week. Sorry, usually have that kind of prepped and ready to go. We are on 5.4 this week. So we have this lesson as well as one more, and then we'll be testing. So just so you kind of know, what's coming up in the future. If you've been struggling or if you've been putting off lessons 1 through 3, I encourage you to kind of take advantage of this week and make sure you catch yourself up. Because before you know it, next week will come and go, and then we'll be on test week, and then we'll be done. So on to more things. Bobby, sorry. So for this week, interactive textbook, this is where you could find the pages, the link to the textbook, all that kind of stuff. Don't forget, I'm still getting questions on, can we get a textbook? No, it's not, or I should say, yes, you totally can. It is not too late. All you have to do is just go to Timberline. I'm not sure how the process works. I'm assuming you just walk into the main office, tell them you're there to pick up a textbook. I'm assuming they'll probably throw or send you up to the library upstairs. Maybe they'll bring one down to you. I'm not sure again. But you can still pick up an actual textbook if you'd like one. Or you could just use the PDF version that's on there. It's totally up to you. Practice problems, make sure you're doing these. I know I've been pushing this lately, but I'm going to keep saying it. I'm continuing to help students on Zoom, and when I get an email from them or when I help them, they have a question about a problem that's typically on the check-in or the vocab and concepts. And I tell them that the check-in question is exactly like practice problem, whatever, right? 23 or whatever. Well, then it come to find out they don't do those practice problems. So make sure you're doing those. Again, the format of this is you are going to walk yourself through the textbook. If you don't want to just open the textbook and read it and learn it yourself, you've always got these video tutorials of me walking you through it. So if you like the classroom setting, if you like going and watching something be presented to you, right? This is what's for you, right? Make sure you're accessing these video tutorials. After you learn the material, after you go through the video tutorial, that's when you should be doing these practice problems. Again, my video tutorials cover the practice problems. I do them for you. So you can either follow along with me or you can do them on your own with the solutions manual. Make sure you have that out while you're doing those practice problems, because that's the steps and the answers for you. Then extra practice if you need it. Some people aren't really taking advantage of this, which is cool. The main idea, the main reason I put this on there is for testing. I always hated reviewing for tests and seeing problems that I already did or getting a worksheet that we already did in class. So these are fresh problems that you can access. Vocab concepts and the check-in, both of these are due on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. And then we've already covered the solutions manual in the video tutorial. So I'm going to stop sharing, pause for questions, let the late people in. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask anything, any questions you have. All right, I'm going to hang back and talk with people. So if you have questions, you want to work through a problem, you want to talk about, I don't know, registering for classes next year or a problem that you're having with something, just hang back with me and talk with me. If you're good to go, spend the next 40 minutes on math, right? Start working through this material, start taking care of it. Email me if you have any questions, and we will see you guys on Thursday. Bye. Bye, Vanessa. All right, questions from anybody? So Lillian, I would definitely recommend doing or redoing anything that you haven't done. So if that's just, if you're talking about every single lesson that we've seen so far, yeah, I would just kind of start putting in the time, making sure you're watching those video tutorials that I'm uploading each week. I don't know if you've seen any of those or not, but it's basically me just walking you through page by page of the textbook and explaining things and going through the example problems and going through all the practice problems. So those, I think that they help, but I'm not sure. If you're not accessing those, I would highly recommend going back and for 5.1 and watching that first, and then maybe doing the vocab concepts in the check-in. And then watching the 5.21, doing the vocab concepts and check-in. The only other thing I'd say is while you're doing that video tutorial, have a notebook out, a composition book or whatever, and just be taking notes on things. Usually throughout those videos, I'll really stress things like, this is a common mistake every year I see students do, so watch out for this, right? Just things like that. Just be actively listening. So yeah. And don't forget all those assignments, those vocab and concepts and those check-ins that we've seen so far, those can be redone as many times as you want. So even if you've taken them, feel free to redo them. Every week I reprocess grades, so it'll be updated next week on Monday. And then try to just shoot for the highest score that you can get, right? Of course, I've kind of talked about it at the end of last year. The longer you keep getting partial credit for assignments, the lower your grade goes. And before you know it, you've got like a C or a D and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I do that? Well, it's because you've gotten partial credit on 10 or 15 assignments, right? It just over time, it chips away at it. The only other thing I'd say is if you're watching those videos and you still have questions or you want to work through a problem or, something came up, shoot me an email. If I can answer it over email, I will. But if I can't, then we'll Zoom and I'll just help you out. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay. Let me know if you need any help, okay? Yeah, for sure.